All right, here's the second video for the day. Yeah, I told you I was going to do a breakdown as far as the playoff picture because we do have a lot of clarity now. So, this is what we got. If your team is in red, you're locked into that spot. All right, Continental Division on this side, Empire Division on that side. Now, we know for a fact that with the Empire, this is going to be the opening round matchup between Danbury and Motor City. The only thing we do not know is who gets home ice advantage in that playoff series. Now, as of right now, this is Saturday, uh, pre-game. All right. Obviously, there's 5 games going on tonight. Um, Danbury has 3 games left, possibility of 9 points. They trail Motor City by 5 points. All right, so right now Motor City is holding down the second spot, so that's why I put them in blue. That's just going on current. Um, we know that these two teams though are facing each other, and in that first weekend, so things are a lot clearer in the Continental Division. Let's go to that first because that's the easiest thing to explain. Uh, Columbus, home ice advantage through the playoffs. Uh, as long as they keep playing, they've got home ice advantage. All right, so they have potentially up to 7 home games for the playoffs. Of course, the playoff series are best of 3 for the first 2 rounds for this round, and then the next round. The finals would be, they're usually a best of 5. That does depend on ice availability. However, typically it's a best of 5. All right, so we know this is locked in. This is going to be the first playoff game. Mississippi already has their date set. It is Wednesday, April 17th. Yep, they'll be hosting Columbus. And then for the next 2 games, I would assume Friday and Saturday, but that's not finalized yet. Those games would be in Columbus Friday and then Saturday if needed. Now, the other series, we have Carolina and Port Huron. So Port Huron gets that first game. Of course, the higher seed, you get 2 home games. But yeah, it's always the road team the first game, and then the home team the next 2 games. Uh, so that's locked in. We know we got that. Picture's still a little dicey on the Empire Division, as we talked about just a bit ago. We don't know, who's going to be number 2, who's going to be number 3, but we know that one way or the other, those teams are playing each other. Binghamton, okay, they are awaiting their opponent. Looks like it's going to be Elmira. Elmira's magic number to clinch is 6. If they beat Watertown tonight, it's a done deal. Then you would plug Elmira in to here. Uh, so that it's looking pretty likely that Elmira will be that opponent for Binghamton. As of right now, as I'm recording this, Elmira has 3 games left. Watertown has 4. But again, the onus is really on Watertown. They have to win tonight. That's an absolute must for them to stay alive. And then if they do, they still need a lot of help in order to overcome Elmira. All right, so yeah, it's a 6-point differential at this point. Elmira with 60 points, Watertown with 54. So that's what we're looking at here. That's why I put it, because it's not finalized yet. I put Elmira or Watertown, but again, it's looking more likely that it will be the River Sharks in the playoffs. So that is what we're looking at. And then, of course, as you get to this round, because I'm just mentioning this because a couple of people have asked me, they weren't sure how the playoffs are working out. Again, best of 3 series, best of 3 series, best of 5 usually. Uh, the higher seed will move on. Let's just make up an example. Let's say somehow Mississippi ends up winning the series and beating Columbus. Okay, so they go here, and now they're the fourth seed, so they would still be the road team to either of these teams in that scenario. All right. Typically, you see the higher seeds moving on, but you get into the playoffs, you never know what's going to happen. It's a whole different animal, so anything can happen. So, but last year, yeah, it was a true. The finals was a true one seed versus one seed. It was Danbury and Carolina meeting in the finals, and they were the top seeds in each conference. Danbury, of course, had home ice advantage throughout, and they ended up winning the whole thing. If you remember, that was a pretty wild playoff season as well. So there's your look. That's the breakdown. Again, red teams, they're locked into their spot. The seat is set. And again, we already know the date and time for the first game here. All right, so hope this helps. And yeah, it'll be real interesting to see. We might have this team in red by this time tomorrow. We'll see. All right. Thanks for joining me. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. And by the way, if you haven't already, make sure you're following me on Facebook. I keep things up to date as much as possible there, especially with transactions and what's going on around the league. And occasionally do videos there. And also, make sure you're following me on Spotify because that's where this whole thing with Fed League Flash started. And so yeah, Monday through Thursday, I'm usually on Spotify on those days. All right, thanks for joining me. We'll catch you tomorrow.